Fiduciary duty. It's a legal concept that forms the backbone of trust in many professional relationships. But what happens when that trust is broken? A breach of fiduciary duty can have serious legal and financial consequences. In this video, we'll explore what it means to breach a fiduciary duty, how it's proven in court, and what remedies are available to those who have been wronged. At its core, a fiduciary duty is a legal obligation to act in the best interest of another party. This duty often arises in relationships where one person places trust and confidence in another to manage their affairs. A breach occurs when the fiduciary fails to uphold this duty, often by acting in their own self-interest or failing to disclose important information. To establish a breach of fiduciary duty in court, a plaintiff must prove 4 key elements. First, the existence of a fiduciary relationship. Second, that the fiduciary breached their duty. Third, that this breach caused harm to the plaintiff. And fourth, that the plaintiff suffered damages as a result. Fiduciaries are bound by several types of duties. These include the duty of loyalty, requiring them to prioritize their clients' interests over their own. The duty of care, which demands informed and prudent decision-making. The duty of good faith, calling for honest and ethical behavior. The duty of disclosure, mandating transparency about conflicts of interest. And the duty of confidentiality, safeguarding sensitive client information. Fiduciary relationships exist in many professional contexts. Attorneys have a fiduciary duty to their clients. Accountants to their clients, trustees to beneficiaries, corporate officers to shareholders, and guardians to their wards. These are just a few examples of the many fiduciary relationships that exist in the business and professional world. Certain industries are particularly prone to breach of fiduciary duty claims. These include corporate governance, where board members and executives have duties to shareholders. Legal and financial services, where professionals manage client assets and provide critical advice. Real estate and property management, healthcare and insurance, and estate planning and trusts. A breach can take many forms. It might involve a fiduciary acting in their own self-interest at the expense of their client. It could be a failure to disclose important information, or it might be simple negligence in carrying out their responsibilities. Any action that is not in the best interest of the client could potentially be considered a breach. The legal consequences of a breach can be severe. Courts may award compensatory damages to reimburse the plaintiff for financial losses. They may order disgorgement of any profits the fiduciary gained from the breach. Injunctive relief might be granted to prevent further harm. In cases of fraud or gross negligence, punitive damages could be imposed. And professional disqualification is a possibility, potentially ending careers. To win a breach of fiduciary duty complaint, plaintiffs must prove that the fiduciary had specific duties, failed to fulfill those duties, and that this failure resulted in damages. Keeping detailed records of communications and relevant documentation is crucial in building a strong case. Defendants accused of breaching their fiduciary duty have several potential defenses. They might argue that no fiduciary relationship existed. Corporate officers might invoke the business judgment rule, which protects decisions made in good faith. They could claim the plaintiff suffered no actual harm or damages, or they might argue that the statute of limitations for filing a claim has expired. In conclusion, a breach of fiduciary duty is a serious matter with potentially far-reaching consequences. It occurs when a person in a position of trust fails to act in the best interest of their client or beneficiary. Understanding the nature of fiduciary relationships, the duties they entail, and the consequences of breaching those duties is crucial for both fiduciaries and those who rely on them. By maintaining high standards of integrity and transparency, fiduciaries can avoid breaches and maintain the trust that is so essential to their roles.